Hey guys, Kevin here for Outlander Season 1, Episode 14, The Search, and I was definitely looking forward to this episode. I mean, last week's cliffhanger was probably the best cliffhanger they've ever done. I mean, it was an insane cliffhanger, and this episode really did not disappoint. It was probably the best episode of the season. It was an amazing episode, and it was actually very funny at times as well, and but there's a lot to talk about that happened in this episode, and we're definitely getting to a very crazy last two episodes. I can tell the final two episodes of this season are going to be insane, and I can't wait for it. But let's get into this episode because it was amazing, and a lot happened, and there's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. So, Jenny rushes about the house with instructions for Mrs. Crook as Ian lays injured on the couch. Of course, Ian told them that Jamie went missing. And Claire's breezing past Ian, but halts when he calls out to her, wondering what she plans to do. Because, you know, obviously, he wants her to take some sort of action. Also, Jenny wants her to take some sort of action. When she tells him she intends to get Jamie back, he tries to rise from the couch to accompany her, but she refuses. Probably because, you know, he has a bad leg and things like that. I mean, he already had a bad leg, and now he's in really critical condition, so after Jenny tells him he's not leaving, he turns Mrs. Crook to rally the other tenants with other proper weapons to join the search, but Claire refuses the assistance since Lally Brock could suffer for going against the English, and Ian concedes but offers to make a rough map of where they were ambushed to help in the search. So basically, Claire mounts her horse and prepares to leave, but is startled by Jenny coming to join her, which I thought was kind of interesting that Jenny decided that she was going to join Claire. I mean, I found that really interesting overall, that she decided to, you know, join her. But yeah, she basically decides to join Claire, and although Claire basically has Ian's map and some knowledge of the area, Jenny has the skills to track the soldiers, which I thought was really good. I really love the bonding of these two. I've said before, I love the bonding of these two. I think they bond really well together. That's definitely something that I think is really cool. Introducing Jenny, I love the bonding between the two of them, and I think it's awesome, honestly. It's great to have another female paired with Claire, especially since Claire has been in this world filled with males. I mean, she had Gayless, but now she really can't trust Gayless, so I like that she has Jenny now because just the teaming up of them is really good. So before Claire can argue again, Jenny takes off on horseback with Claire trailing behind her, and Claire in this episode goes into full badass mode to find Jamie, and this was probably the most badass we have seen Claire, and I've said before, Claire's a badass, and this episode proves it. So the pair travel through the land, pausing to refer to Ian's map and investigate tracks left in the field, and they're spotting birds circle the sky nearby, and Jenny knows they're getting close to where the men were ambushed because, you know, the more they see the birds, the closer they are to where they were taken. So Claire and Jenny come across this spot where Jamie was taken to find the bodies of some of the other men of the watch, which I thought was really interesting that we saw that overall. And Jenny kneels to say a prayer over each of the bodies, you know, just because it was probably the right thing to do. I mean, these men just like, and here's the thing, I think she was just thinking that any of these men, they could have been Ian, obviously. Any of these men could have been Ian, and I think that's really why she prayed to them, because she's praying that thank God that Ian was safe, and hopefully this doesn't happen to Jamie. You know, she's hoping that Jamie does not end up with these bodies, because he very well could, and, you know, anything could really happen to Jamie at this point. They really don't know what could happen to Jamie, and there are a million things that could happen to him at this point. So looking at the fallen map, Claire's reminded of her time in the war, of course, because if you remember, Claire was in the war, you know, she fought in the war, when the fallen men of the victors were taken from the field of battle and buried, but the defeated are left to decay where they fell. So I thought that was really good that she saw that, because she can now relate what's going on there to their situation. So Jenny's voice pulls Claire back into reality from her thoughts and informs her that there are more tracks heading east, including those made by a heavy cart that will make it easy for them to follow. So this plan seems to be going quite well overall. So after more traveling, Claire and Jenny take a short respite from riding. They kind of go to this rest stop to allow Jenny a moment to relieve herself of breast milk that she has since she has been away from the baby for some time. And this really shows how much of a struggle it is for mothers and how hard they work. It really does show that, and I like seeing that a lot. I thought that was, especially because, you know, mostly females watch the show. I mean, there are males who watch the show, but, you know, for the females who watch the show, that was really good to see, and I definitely enjoyed watching that. And you know, basically, it's just showing that she's a very strong woman, and I definitely love seeing that scene. So Claire wonders if they will actually find Jamie, and for a while I'm like, they're probably not going to find Jamie. I'm pretty sure that they're not going to find Jamie. It looks like they're not going to find Jamie till next episode. So Jenny tells her that they have to before Jamie's reunited with Jack, and Jamie actually isn't in this episode, which I thought was good because it added to the search. The whole episode's a search for Jamie. So if we had seen Jamie, it would have taken away from that. And I like that we don't know where Jamie is right now. We know that, Jack could find him, and he will basically... I like what Jamie says, because it's true what Jamie would do. He will most likely finish what he started, which, yeah, he would. So Claire hopes to avoid Jack by going over him to his superior, Lord Thomas, who she believes took a liking to her when they met at Brockton, and Jenny's not convinced by Claire's plan, but they continue on with their search, and Jenny comes upon warm horse droppings, and they find themselves close to the English soldiers' campsite, and they spot Taryn restrained on the cart, but do not see Jamie anywhere in sight. Now, they do not trust Taryn at this point. So one soldier seen receiving a letter and setting off on his own, giving Jenny and Claire an opportunity to learn more about Jamie's whereabouts. And along the road, Jenny throws herself into the path of the soldier's horse, causing him to stop and providing Claire the opportunity to sneak up on him. And we get this awesome scene. She makes her presence known. She holds a pistol right to his head, and I thought she was just gonna, blow his head off right there. And, Jenny does the same thing, and the pair manage to tie him belly down to a log, and Jenny hits him with the stock of the rifle while trying to get information from him, and I don't think we've seen Claire be this much of a badass, the whole season. This was so awesome. I loved it. I love seeing these two work together, and just, oh my god, I love their bonding. I mean, I could just talk for hours about how much I love these two bonding, but this is why I love them working together. Because, I mean, Jenny was strong, but without Claire, I don't think Jenny would be half as strong as she is, really. I don't think she would be. Claire is what's making her stronger, and I think, honestly, that's one of the reasons why I love the bonding so much, because they're helping each other out a lot, definitely. And I think this episode really does show that very well. So, basically, the soldier refuses to answer, and he's throwing insults at them, and I'm just like, dude, you're gonna get yourself hurt more. And I thought that was kind of funny that he was just yelling at them the whole time, because, I mean, he's gonna get himself hurt, obviously. If they continue to do what they do, he's gonna get himself hurt. So, he's not telling them anything of consequence until he reveals himself to be a courier. So, at this, they realize that he has no ties to Jack or Jamie, so basically they can let him go, and basically they go through the man's bag, hoping to find one of the dispatches that will mention Jamie, and Claire finds this document detailing Jamie's escape and the army's attempts to retrieve him, and Jenny realized that since the letter has not reached Fort William, they will not know of Jamie's escape, so he's basically no use to them, and he will not go looking for him, and proceeds to tear up the dispatch, and Claire knows Jamie will not return to Lallybroch, and Jenny agrees, saying that he will go north and disappear and deeper into the highlands where the garrison would not follow because it would take them too far from their supplies and reinforcements. So, I like that. That's one of the things I love about this show, is that they're not idiots. They know what they're doing, and they know that Jamie would not go back to Lallybroch, obviously. They're going to go north. That's where they're going. So, they're already sort of having a path of travel, which I think is really good, and I like they knew where they were going. So Claire moves to gather supplies to tend to the soldiers' injuries, but Jenny stops her since they can't allow the man to live because he knows too much and they can't let him live. But Claire does not agree. She thinks they should keep him alive, and I like seeing the pair argue a little bit. I thought that was well done. And they stare each other down until a noise draws their attention, and they turn to see Murtaugh. Yeah, Murtaugh's back, and he's cutting a man's throat, and he killed him. So he basically saved them, and I like seeing Murtaugh again, because I didn't think we were going to see Murtaugh and Dougal and all of them. I didn't think we'd see any of them till next season, so it was kind of cool to see Murtaugh again. And he tells the women to make camp while he hunts for supper. And Jenny joins Claire by the fire later that night and tells her the story, and I really like this story. Basically, she tells the story of how she roped Jamie and Ian into teaching her how to track when they were younger, and they're startled by, and I thought I definitely like that story, they're startled by this noise, but regain composure when Murtaugh, who was sent after them by Ian, that's how he found them, because he was sent by Ian. He returns with meat for dinner, and it's a good scene. I definitely enjoyed seeing it. Jenny gives Claire this bag of rent money to Claire, as well as a small knife for protection as she prepares to return to Lallybroch. But before Jenny can leave, because obviously she's not going to stay. She knows that she can't stay. She has to tend to her child. But Claire really has no one. She can go on her own. But Claire implores her to plant potatoes and sell any unproductive land for gold because of a famine that will take place in 2 years' time. Now, of course, she knows about that. And she also warns of the coming war, to which Jenny replies that Jamie told her Claire might talk about such things that Jenny should listen to her. So I like that Jamie sort of subtly told her that Claire knows stuff that Jenny doesn't. I like that Jenny doesn't really think anything of it. I think that's kind of funny that Jenny's not like, maybe there's something about Claire. I think it's just because she's so trusting of Claire and Jamie that that she's not going to question what Claire's saying. She understands what she's saying, and to her, it's just that Claire is very smart and is very good predicting things. I think that's really what Jenny's thinking. So basically, they embrace, and Jenny knows Claire will do whatever she can to bring Jamie home, because that's really her concern. She's not going to question Claire, because all she cares about is making sure that her brother is home, and Jenny mounts her horse and takes off for Lallybroch, and I thought that was a really good scene. It's the last scene we see of Jenny, but I loved seeing the teaming up of Claire and Jenny. It's the best thing they could have done. I thought that was great. So Claire joins Murtaugh at the horses as they prepare to head north, and Claire wonders how they're going to find Jamie, and Murtaugh tells her they will not find Jamie, but he will find them, and Murtaugh, which is kind of true. I like what he's saying there, that Jamie's going to find them on his own because he's safe, and that's basically telling her that he is safe and for her not to worry about it. And Murtaugh brought a case of Claire's medicine and plans to use her skills as a healer to attract attention, which is honestly a really good plan. So the pair travel from village to village and stopped in each one for Claire to tend to those in need. And in the evening, Murtaugh takes to the stage as a means to draw more attention, and Claire also begins to read palms as a way of inquiring about Jamie. But her efforts are to no avail, so Murtaugh joins her at the table, and Claire's not believe their plan's really going to work. She doesn't think this is a good, very well executed plan. She's really not sure this is going to work at all. So Murtaugh continues to his act in another village, and Claire suggests Murtaugh add a song to jazz up the dance, which is a good thing to do. And I loved this part. I thought this was great. She begins to sing Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from the Andrews Sisters. And if you guys know that song, you know that song's from like the 1940s, and obviously they wouldn't know the song. So I think that's kind of funny. Now, this inspires Murtaugh to change their approach. It is Claire's turn to take to the stage, since Murtaugh believes a Sazerac dressed as a man and singing a particular song will speed up their search. That's basically her plan. So Claire reluctantly takes to the stage, but gradually becomes more comfortable with it. At first she really doesn't want to do it because she doesn't think she looks good, and she doesn't really think she's a good singer, but we start to see, I love seeing this montage of seeing Claire sing the song and just get more and more comfortable as it went on. It honestly was probably one of the highlights of the episode, was just seeing her this comfortable. It was a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed seeing that, especially in an episode that could have been very dark. I like that we have these fun moments throughout it, and gradually she's becoming more comfortable with the performance, and word does spread about her as one of her next stops draws a large crowd, and the crowd's going nuts over her performing, and Murtaugh moves to the crowd to collect money and inquire about Jamie, because obviously they're playing yours to find out what's going on with Jamie. Obviously that's what they want to do. So, a man who was at one of Claire's other performances watches her again with his small company and observes the success she and Murtaugh have reaped from their act, and Claire concludes her performance and meets Murtaugh backstage. They have just performed in their 6th village, and and they're really a big hit. I mean, everyone's loving their performance. And Claire's wondering how much longer they must keep at it, and basically, Murtaugh is determined to keep it going as long as it takes, knowing that Jamie will recognize the song as one Dougal used to sing. So, basically, since Dougal used to sing it, I think that's really interesting. So, basically, the pair continue their travels and both perform their song and dance everywhere they go, and they come across a gathering in the woods and find the group from another village has stolen their act, which really makes Claire pissed, obviously, and they're confronting the gypsies after the performance in an attempt to stop them, and Claire tells the leader she's singing the song in order to find her husband, and that once he's found, she will never have to sing it again. And offering him the money Jenny gave her, she asks for his word that they will not perform the song again. And Murtaugh chastises her for trusting the gypsies, since they will no doubt keep performing the song, and confuse Jamie, which I can understand. But basically, he tries to get her to return to Lallybroch so he can track the gypsies on his own. But Claire's obviously not going to do that. She's going to find Jamie because she's, Jamie's her one true love and the thing she cares about most. So obviously, she refuses and pulls rank as the Laird's Lady to continue on with Murtaugh. So basically, they really do have a good plan going here, and I like that Claire decided not to leave because it's probably the best thing for her to do. I thought that was really good. So, the next morning, the pair decided to go back to where they started, and basically, we then see after that, what happens after? Okay, so Claire continues to draw a crowd as the pair travel from place to place until they reach the coast, and the pair stop for the night and set up camp. And sitting around the fire, Claire and Murtaugh begin to argue about their situation. By the way, the other thing I like about this episode is that I don't think Claire and Murtaugh have had enough interaction, so it was kind of cool to see them in more interaction because, I mean, we've seen Claire more with Jamie and Dougal and Galis. I like seeing her interact with someone who she hasn't as much interaction with. I thought that was really well done. Definitely something I really enjoyed about this episode was seeing her interact with Murtaugh. Something I really liked. So, she's fighting back her words, accusing Murtaugh of not understanding what it feels like to lose someone you love. Because honestly, Murtaugh can't relate to that. I can understand her point there. You know, Murtaugh can't really relate to losing someone you love, and she can. I like seeing that. I thought that was well done. So, her words forced Murtaugh to tell her the story of a woman he once loved, and I thought this was a great story here. I thought this was a great part of the episode. She had another suitor, and during the Mackenzie gathering, he single-handedly killed a boar as a way of proving himself worthy, and the Laird was so impressed by his actions that he gave Murtaugh the tusk, which he made into bracelets to give to a woman as a wedding gift. So realization dawns on Claire, who retrieves the bracelets belonging to Jamie's mother that Jenny gave her. And Murtaugh tells Claire she's not the only one who loves Jamie, and that and I thought this was an amazing story here. We find out that basically he's like a son to him, and he made the bracelets that Jamie's mother had, and I thought that was amazing that we saw that, and now we see why Murtaugh's so concerned here, because Jamie's like a son to him, and Claire breaks down, apologizes to Murtaugh, and she embraces him, and it's such a well-done scene. I love seeing that scene. Katrina Bell in that scene, just, oh my god, she's always amazing, but that scene in particular, just, I thought that was an amazing scene. That was just great. I loved it. Honestly, that was an amazing scene, and just, I love their interaction, I really do. I really hope that in Season 2 they get more interaction like this, because this is awesome. So, the next morning, the pair decide to go back to where they started and begin again in their search, and as a means to make more money, Claire once again begins to tell fortune. She also comes to face with the gypsies, who bring word from a messenger meant for Claire, and their leader, Mr. Ward, tells her exactly where to go, and Murtaugh confirms it's a place that Jamie would know, and basically Claire and Murtaugh once again resume their travels and finally make it to their location. And running toward a cave, Claire cries out for Jamie, but is met by another familiar face, Dougal, and Dougal is back, which was awesome. And Dougal informs Claire that he has news of Jamie, who's alive, was captured by the Redcoats and sent to Wentworth Prison. Now, I've been told that Wentworth Prison is very disturbing, and I'm going to be very disturbed by it. So, for those people that commented on that blog that I'm not ready for Wentworth Prison, no, I'm not. I have no idea what it means, and just from the promo, I'm already scared. So, he stood trial and is sentenced to hanging, and that I thought was insane that we found out. And when Claire tries to leave, Dougal stops her. When Murtaugh puts himself between the two, Dougal says he needs to speak to Claire alone, and Claire now knows where he is, and Murtaugh concedes when Claire agrees, and Dougal draws Claire away while taking his hands in hers, and tells her that she must let Jamie go, and he urges her to return with him, but she tries to pull away, saying that she needs her husband, to which Dougal offers protection if she takes him as her husband, and at his word, Claire pulls away. She wants nothing to do with him. Now, what happened to Dougal and Galis? Like, he doesn't talk about it. I'm kind of interested in seeing why he's not really talking about that. And, basically, she's disgusted by what Dougal's saying, and Jamie and basically disregard for herself, Jamie and Galis, and Dougal tries to scare her by suggesting that Jack may return to Lallybroch, which obviously he's not going to, but he's just trying to scare her at this point. So, Claire soon realizes his true intentions. She figures that Dougal wishes to control the Fraser lands, which is why Dougal kept Jamie away from home for so long. That's what he wants to do. He wants to take over the Fraser lands, and basically he not only away from home so long with lies about his sister and Jack, and Dougal does not give up on trying to persuade her, and says that even Jamie would want his home, and Claire protected, even if that means she would have to marry Dougal. And I thought that was an amazing scene. Just seeing how Dougal tricked everyone, I thought that was amazing. So Claire backs away from Dougal and only breaks her silence as how many men are in his company, and he reveals there are 10 men with him, and quickly realizes she's thinking of breaking into Wentworth to save Jamie, and Dougal does not think that they're going to succeed, but Claire's determined to try, even going as far as promising to marry Dougal if they fail, and Dougal agrees, but only will take the men who volunteer to go with them, and the pair shake on the deal, And they basically, that's awesome. They're going to go on the search together. So Claire and Murtaugh meet with Dougal's men, a group that includes Angus, Rupert, and Willie, but the men refuse to go with them, and Claire tries to persuade them to work with her. And I love what she says, that Jamie would go after any of them, would, go after them if they were in a situation, which, yeah, Jamie would. I mean, Jamie would go after maybe the most random person ever. That's how much Jamie cares about people. And the men remain silent as her plea until Willie volunteers to join Claire, which causes Angus and Rupert to go with Claire to Wentworth, and Claire, Murtaugh, Angus, Rupert, and Willie ride off towards Wentworth and stop when the prison is in sight, and that's how the episode ends. And from the promos next week, it looks like things are going to be insane. Jack is back next week, which I cannot wait to see their confrontation. I can't wait to see what happens with Claire and Jack. That's going to be awesome to watch. There's a lot to talk about. First of all, is this deal with Dougal really going to work? I don't know if, this is actually going to work. We'll have to see what ends up happening. If Dougal, if this works out with Dougal, if Dougal says, because if Dougal says no, I mean, who knows what could happen. That could be really interesting to see what ends up happening there. I don't really know what's going to happen. I love seeing the interaction, as I said, between Claire and Jenny. I thought that was really well done. Probably one of my favorite parts of the episode was seeing their interaction. I thought that was just overall very well done. Something I loved about the episode was their interaction overall. I love seeing the interaction between Murtaugh and Claire as well. I thought that was also really good. I really love the interaction between all the characters in this episode. I thought that was really good as well. What do you think about Dougal's plan? Is it really going to work? Is he going to take the Fraser lands? I could definitely see it happening in Season 2. I mean, they're playing completely fails. He takes the Fraser lands. I could see that happening. Definitely, I could see that happening. He could maybe screw them over in the end. We'll have to see what happens. But what's going to happen at Wentworth Prison? I mean, the next episode is called Wentworth Prison, so I really don't know what's going to happen at Wentworth, and I'm honestly kind of worried for Jamie. I hope obviously Jamie's not going to die. They're implying that he's going to die, but I know he's not going to die, because obviously he's the second main character. If Jamie died, there'd be no point to, continue the show, so I can understand why, they're doing that, but overall, I love this episode, and I'm going to talk about why. There were so many things about this episode that were great. I love the humor in this episode. I love the fun part of this episode. The stuff with Claire singing, that was a lot of fun to watch. Also, it's setting up for a really awesome final 2 episodes. I can tell next week's episode is going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see what happens in next week's episode. It's going to be crazy. I can tell it's going to be crazy. It's not going to be like The Wedding, which had that one sex scene. It's going to be a much darker, crazier episode. I definitely feel like this is where we're heading in Season 2. Season 2 is going to be a lot darker than Season 1. I definitely see it happening. That's where I think we're headed. But, that's my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. Overall, guys, best episode of the season. Absolutely love this episode. Also, do you think Jenny might end up helping out Claire? I could definitely see it happening. Is she going to does she know about Dougal's plan? Does she know about all this stuff? I'm not really sure. Why did Dougal not bring up Gayless? That's definitely something I'm wondering about. Like, why did he not bring up Gayless? Like, you think he would. Why didn't he? I'm not really sure. But that's my review. Hope you all enjoy. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of Orphan Black. So I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.